In this video, we're checking out the Rogue Trader era Imperial Dreadnought.
Scifiwargamers.
Like this! In November of 1987, the Imperial Space Marines were reinforced with their first dreadnought, known at the time as dreadnought armour, and these were the code RT7, and these cost £3.50 each. Yes, £3.50. They had a variety of details in armaments and limb arrangements, and could be painted in any Space Marine chapter. You could even order your dreadnought as separate parts to pick the limbs and weapons that you wanted. The weapons at the time were a single bolter, a double bolter, a heavy laser, now known as a las cannon, a missile launcher, and you could even specify if you wanted short legs or long legs. There was also a choice of two torsos, a thinner torso and a wider torso. The lore at the time said the three best known variants of Imperial battle armour, not dreadnoughts, are the Contemptor, Deredeo and Furibundus classes, also known as Rod, Jane and Freddy. Now I do apologise, it's actually Eddie, Fury and Chuck. Of course, the individual suits are often modified in the field to provide different weapons and equipment. We will show you the standard models to give you some examples of Imperial Dreadnought construction. So first up, we have a detailed exploded view of both the Deredeo class attack support dreadnought, also known as the Eddie, and the Furibundus class destroyer dreadnought, also known as Fury. Now in this exploded parts diagram, it looks a bit like the individual metal parts you would get to build the kit. However, some of those parts are not quite as the actual metal parts look. I don't remember the main torso in there actually showing the fetal positioned pilot, and I also do not remember the head movement block on the top there being a separate part. However, I may be wrong, it might have been separate, but I don't think it was. Also, that rotary actuator on the front of the pelvis there, I think that was all one piece as well. Of note, you can see there were two types of exhaust on there, one for a crystal fuel and the other one for a standard combustion fuel, and they look very similar. The missile launcher has a lovely designation of Spit Fury, and the las cannon, not a laser weapon now, is now known as a death foe. The bolter is called a foe blaster in this case. Note, it is just a single bolter and not a twin-linked bolter. Now the Contemptor class at the time, the Chuck, came with a standard armament of 4 bolt guns, 2 built into each upper limb, synchronized to fire at the same time, so a twin-linked weapon. A targeter program is included as a mental program. Also, the Contemptor class dreadnought carries a standard sensor package, whatever that is, a jump pack of all things, a power field and a power field synchronizer. The Deredeo class attack support dreadnought, codenamed Eddie, was equipped with a standard armament of 1 bolt gun and 1 missile launcher. Each limb again has its own targeter program, and the targeters are included as standard equipment. The more powerful type crack missiles and frag shells are carried as standard. It also carries a standard sensor package of 2 power fields and a power field synchronizer. Now, the Furibundus class destroyer dreadnought, codename Fury, is equipped with a standard armament of 2 bolt guns synchronized to fire simultaneously and 1 las cannon. Again, each limb has its own targeter program. The Furibundus, like the others, is also equipped with a standard sensor package of power field and power field synchronizer. We can see here the Contemptor class close assault dreadnought Chuck, and in a smaller, less detailed exploded parts diagram, and you can see the sort of double power fist arrangement there with the twin linked bolters on those claw hands. Interestingly, It doesn't look like those fingers can even move. They look like one piece. At the time, I thought these old Rogue Trader Dreadnoughts were possibly some of the best miniatures I've ever seen in my life, and there really is some amazing old artwork out there of these things. The models themselves have been painted in various different manners. So first up we have this old silver dreadnought, and can anyone recognise the chapter? It has some wonderful red teeth on there with "kill" written on the top, and everyone wrote "kill" on their Space Marines back in the 80s. And originally, I thought this blue one was an Ultramarine, but I think it might actually be a Crimson Fist because of the era. However, I'm not 100% sure. If you're sure, let us know in the comments below. However, I am sure that writing "fear" on your Dreadnought's arm is amazing. Lastly, we have a red Dreadnought with no notable features whatsoever. It looks like they ran out of time doing the details on this one because it is literally just red with some black bits. Not quite as good as the previous two, but if you want a red dreadnought done well, look no further than this Blood Angels dreadnought. This one looks fantastic. I really like those little accents on there, the die motif on the pelvis, and the little yellow arrow on the side of the arm there. Upon closer inspection on the top, you can see some nice free-handed Blood Angels logo work there. And I think this looks really nice. I do like the old black logos with a white outline. I think they have a lovely, lovely contrast. Moving on to this interesting cat-faced dreadnought here. The cat eyes make this borderline amusing. However, I think it's definitely in the awesome category. I think if I was ever going to paint my own Crimson Fists Rogue Trader Dreadnought, I would definitely be painting the cat face on the front. What about you? It also says "death is easy" on the top, and it probably is with a massive power fist. A yellow dreadnought is up next, and I think this one is a minor conversion. There's something on the top there, the rear where the exhaust should be, and I'm not entirely sure what they've actually done there, but it doesn't look standard. There's also this Dark Angels. I think it might be Dark Angels Dreadnought because it's very black and has a winged something on the logo there. It has a wonderful, wonderful weathering effect and one of the coolest banners ever with a candle with an eye in it. A beautiful, beautiful piece of Rogue Trader art here of a Rogue Trader Dreadnought. This one of the Ultramarines chapter. You wouldn't know it was Ultramarines unless they provided a nice little caption at the bottom telling you so. He's taken a shot there and he doesn't look bothered. Another piece of wonderful 80s era art here with a dreadnought doing what he does best, shooting some enemies. There's some flesh eater space marines there with him. Are they on his side or is he shooting them? You tell us. A pair of conversions here. I especially like Ritz on the right there. He's put a strange sort of curved faceplate on there, and I think that's made the dreadnought look very different and very, very interesting. I also like the weapon. It looks like it has a fish tank sponge filter for a magazine. Over here we have To Catch a Rogue, a wonderful diorama piece of the Tiger Claws, or are they Astral Claws Space Marines, chasing down a rogue dreadnought. Check out those jet bikes. Now moving on, we see that Rogue Trader Dreadnoughts for the Imperial faction were not always tied to Space Marines. They were also sent out to various different Imperial armies. Here is one for a Rogue Trader. As you can see here on this dreadnought, they were also given to the Imperial army. Now, do you think the pilot was entombed within the dreadnought, or do you think they were literally just pilots in temporarily? This one is from the 53rd Regiment Imperial Army. Now here's one I really, really like the colour scheme of. It's sort of white, red, black with a kind of olive drab arm. And this is for Rogue Trader Foulway Tor. And last but not least in the artwork section is this beautiful looking dreadnought scheme for the Mentor Legion, which is a chapter we don't see much nowadays, but we did see a lot of back in the Rogue Trader era. Another striking piece of artwork here with two dreadnoughts going toe to toe, a Imperial Dreadnought versus an Orc Dreadnought down the other end, and notice the Space Marine has an interesting chapter badge of sort of a curved cross there. Does anyone recognise that? Is it the Fire Angels? Please let us know.
So there you have it, the Rogue Trader Imperial Dreadnought. What did you think of this miniature? Did you ever have one of these miniatures as a youngster? Where were you back in the 80s? What chapter was your Dreadnought painted as? If you enjoy the content on this channel, then please consider joining the Patreon page, the link to which is in the description below. If you want to see some more Oldhammer videos, then check out the playlist up here somewhere. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. That means you, Emily. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.